Incredible! This is
The Grove Podcast.
Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 148 of The Grove Podcast. Now, thank you for listening, and I'm pretty sure you're all doing very, very, very well after last night's 4-1 battering of Aston Villa. Now, I'm not one to blow my own trumpet, but I think I'm going to make an exception this one time. And I'd like to remind listeners on my Aston Villa prediction in the last pod, which happened to be, what was it again? Oh, yes, 4-1. I even guested on an Aston Villa channel, the Rogers Report. Thank you for having me on, just to discuss the game. And I shared that prediction, maybe a bit too boldly, not through arrogance, just that it was due. We were underperforming our XG, and Villa had been for some time massively overperforming their various goals for, goals against, and points metrics. And I just thought and hoped we were going to do another Man City, and this was going to be the game that the dam burst, and the dam did indeed burst. So, you know, saying that, given the Rice injury news before the game and the halftime score, I was a little bit concerned, and I would have taken a 1-0 own goal set piece win, but that's not what happened. Emi, Unai, and the rest of the Villa team got a humbling. They threw their toys out the pram, stormed down the tunnel, had arguments with fans, and deservedly so. And joining me today to look back at that battering, hoping, given last night's post-match activities with Ian, Ask Cannon Picks from this parish, he still has some recollection of the game, is Moz. Moz, how are you? How's the head? You're looking beautiful this morning.
Thank you so much. All good. My head is spinning because you've managed to get a prediction right, and it's a prediction that you got right that is so outlandish. How on earth you managed to do that, I have no idea. And the talk of the post-match walk to Holy Road or wherever we were going was, it just had to be Tabs, didn't it? It just had to be Tabs.
Get in. Look, it was through educational, through proper analysis, looking at the metrics, and just blind hope, and basically, and a dumb guess, and there we go. But there you go. We also have a very special New Year's guest appearance from the Grove. Is Andy? Andy, how are you? And how much has Rice been the problem? And do you think he will get back into the team?
Teed me up right away there, Tabs. Yeah, I'm good, man. My voice is a wee bit worse for wear. We came down on Boxing Day for the Brighton game, and then had a few too many drinks in between then, and then rounded it off last night in a fantastic way. So it's been it's been lovely getting to know different bits of London. As for Declan Rice, yeah, I don't know. You don't change a winning team, do you? So you got to keep him in. Got to keep Marino in there.
Yeah, keep Rice in his place. There we go. And yes, getting to know. Yeah. It sounds like from the WhatsApp group chat that you had a pretty decent night with Ian. Ian was leading you guys astray. So yeah.
That guy is on a prison bed somewhere in a random part of London that he said was 20 minutes.
What sort of night was it if he's on a prison bed? Jeez. What did you get up to?
And he said it was 20 minutes away from the Arsenal stadium, and he messaged me about 2 hours later saying he was home. So we need to get him on to ask about that.
I think we will. Anyway, before we get on with looking back at that humbling, just a quick favour, if you enjoy listening to the podcast, and even if you don't, if you can leave us a nice 5-star rating, give us a subscribe on the podcast apps, YouTube channels, wherever, whatever you do in terms of listening, it really does help, and consider it a small New Year's gift from you to us as we gift you this pod. So anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with the Villa review. As I said, Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 1. I'm not sure I'm going to tire of ever saying that, and apologies if my smugness oozes through the podcast apps. So, as always, I'll start with you, Andy. We always do highlights and lowlights. So, yesterday, what was your highlight and lowlight from Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 1?
I think the highlight is just a fantastic. Like, you kind of touched upon it in the introduction about kind of XG stats, kind of correcting themselves, and it's just a fantastic way to round out 2025. I think you're going to come on to it later. There's been some highs and some lows throughout the year, but at certain points in that second half last night, there was certainly vibes of the 5-1 against Man City, certainly around where we were sitting. a lot of, I don't know, a lot of shouting, a lot of kind of surprise at how quickly those goals went in the second half after what was quite a nervy and cagey first half. So yeah, I think the highlight is just the big ticket item, the kind of 4-1 result against a team in previous seasons and certainly a few weeks ago that we really struggled against. So yeah, that's the highlight. The low light, I think it's got to be Victor Gyökeres. Don't want to go there too early.
No, go for it. Go for it. Go on. Let's hear what you have to say about Big Vic.
So we were talking about it with Ian in the pub last night, and I've just never been able to get that stat that Opta produced out of my head, where they kind of benchmarked a lot of the Portuguese league teams against like what their quality would be like in the English pyramid system. And they kind of, if you take Benfica, if you take Porto, and you take Sporting Lisbon out, I think they basically concluded that the rest of the clubs would be in and around League One level. And
wow.
I think we're kind of seeing that, a bit of a flat track bully against kind of League One quality defenders, and now he's coming up against the kind of pace, power, athleticism and game intelligence of Premier League players. He's just kind of not necessarily at the level we might want. Some good chances in the first half, some kind of half chances I would say in the first half from him yesterday, but yeah, I think as we kind of march on into the kind of business end of the season, we're gonna be very fortunate to have Kai Havertz back.
Yeah, no, indeed. I think he did have. Again, it's sort of his levels are so low that doing a lot of running and causing a few issues and getting on to end of a couple of headers is him having now a good game sort of thing. So I think there's a player in there somewhere. I think we need to find it. But you're right. I think at the price we bought him, I don't ever think he was the main striker. I think Havertz was still going to be number one. I think we're lucky to get Jesus back. I think he'll serve a purpose. Yeah, but it was slim pickings. I think this summer we did need someone up front. We tried, and at 55 million, I guess it's a price that you can sort of take a gamble at. You know, you look at Šeško's not doing a great deal at Man United. Okay, Ekitike seems to be doing all right at Liverpool, but he wasn't the profile we wanted. Voltemader's blowing hot and cold. You know, look at Delap for Chelsea. You know, even Pedro for Chelsea. So no one's really putting up any trees in the centre forward role. But yeah, no, there was always that danger. Players come from Portugal and do quite well. I think a certain Cristiano Ronaldo can attest for that. But yes, I don't think we were expecting him to produce the same numbers, but maybe we get a bit more now. Is that down to us? Is that down to him? Who knows? Let's see. But he's part of a winning side, so there must be something there that he's doing right. So for you, Moz, what was your highlight and low light of yesterday? And I'm not talking about downing a Jägermeister with a straw. So,
so the highlight, I think everyone would say it was the Emi Martínez situation because of the whole time wasting and stuff. But for me, the highlight was that we've seen Gabriel and Saliba back. From the start, it's just such a nice feeling. I'm not saying that Hincapié and Calafiori, Timber and MLS and Ben White are any less of a player, but that confidence that it gives you when you see Gabriel and Saliba at centre back. And there was a few times, and the highlight itself was there was a few times where I don't know how he does it, but William Saliba, when the ball's in the air and from a goal kick or a long ball, he just judges the flight of the ball to perfection, and Ollie Watkins couldn't handle it. There were some times where Saliba would run maybe 2 or 3 yards in front of Watkins and leave Watkins basically on his own. And I was thinking, oh my God, like this ball's about to bounce over Saliba's head. And then suddenly he's just clearing his lines. It was unbelievable. So it was really good to see them back. The low light for me was pre-match. The low light's probably spending 5 nights with Andy, to be honest. I mean, that'd be a low light for anyone.
Best week of your 2025, mate.
The low light has to be just the worry around Declan Rice, because there's always been talk in the last couple of months about injuries we've had, and if one player gets injured, who do we not want it to be? And I think that player is Declan Rice because he seems to be irreplaceable at the moment. And so I just hope it's like a really short, with all due respect to Declan Rice, I hope it's just a Calafiori style diarrhea. And we've just said knee. But yeah, it's that's the low light for me. Just hope he's back for. I don't really mind if he's not back for Bournemouth, but I hope he's back for Liverpool.
Yeah, no, we'll touch on that later, and you're right in terms of Saliba. That's something he's really grown in the last few years. I think heading was a bit of a weak point when he first came into the team, and now he's there. And in terms of having them back together, you know, they love defending, so it's a way they're defending with confidence. I think maybe the last few games we've been defending with a bit of fear, sort of thing, and it changes the mindset and the way even just doing a clearance at the end of the game was like celebrating, and you can really see he just loves that element of it and the nitty grittiness of defending and not letting the defender get the better of him, and yeah, so I think that's.
Did you see the post after the Brighton game at full time? Saliba said in French to Gabriel, and it was lip read by someone. It was that we're not mean enough. So
I did hear about that. Yeah. But and that's what Gabriel brings. He brings that intensity there. He brings a certain. If you're going up against, you know, Gabriel as a defender, you're already half beaten because Jesus, it's Gabriel and Saliba. Whereas if it's Saliba and one other or whoever, it's not to denigrate the other players. They are still really good players, but you take away the best centre back in the world. Whoever comes in is not the best centre back in the world, so you're always going to have a drop off. And the partnership they have, and I think it's not just the individual, the partnership they have together, the fire and ice, you know, just the way they complement each other is superb. And I think having him back will bring that meanness to our defence, and it was noticeable. Ever since he came out, we were much more vulnerable in defence. So you're right. I think that's a massive thing to have him back, but not just in defence, in attack as well. As we found out, he's so important at the other end. I mean, look, for my highlights are all to do with Villa rather than Arsenal. We'll touch on the Arsenal stuff later, but I'm reveling in Emi Martínez's misery. You know, he had aggro with a fan. You know, as he went down the tunnel at the end of the game, he had aggro with the ball boy. I don't know if you saw this, but the ball boy made Martinez walk over to him, pick it up. Then the ball boy drops it. He makes him bend over. And then Martinez gets the cone and tries to fling it nearer to his goal. So it's goal, and then the ball boy picks it up and brings it back. So brilliant shithousery from the ball boy. And just, you know, you say watching him speed up all of a sudden, you know, that first half, you know, when they need it. And the biggest highlight was when we sang to him, "You're just a shit David Raya." So that's superb. So and then the other part of that is also Emery. Did you see all the hoo-ha about Emery storming off down the tunnel? You might have missed all of that. So he went down the tunnel, didn't shake Arteta's hand. Now, I don't give a monkeys, but I like to make fun of this thing. It's very funny. Showed how much of a sore loser. He said it was something because he couldn't wait. It was cold. Arteta was with his coaches, but he's got previous. And thank you to Alan for doing the groundwork on this. We've got two headlines. Wolves boss Gary O'Neill responds to Unai Emery after Aston Villa rival refuses to shake hands. And Newcastle coach Jason Tindall responds to critics as Unai Emery after handshake snub. So he's got previous there, and all very funny. And you shouldn't show you're pissed off, but he certainly did. And in terms of the low light, I was going to say actually it was David Raya's utterly ridiculous save against McGinn, because it was 4-0 and I wanted my 4-1, and I'm happy to sacrifice one goal difference to get my prediction right. And that was just, as a low light turns into a highlight, because you must have had a great view of that. You were like halfway line, say, what? I still look at it now and I'm not sure how he saved. And it's not like McGinn hit it straight at him. What a save. That's just incredible.
It wasn't even like, it was obviously a very good save, and that's 2 in 2 games that he's produced that you just think this is, when you think about the discourse when Ramsdale was dropped for David Raya. But for me, it was just because he anticipated it. He knew John McGinn was going to, like, John McGinn could have lofted that over. Just the anticipation. It was unbelievable. I think there were some audible gasps in the crowd, and the guy 2 rows in front of us just looked at me with his head on his hands in disbelief. And it was unbelievable.
Nuts. And then look, Yeah, like you said, some of the lowlights, the pre-match news and that first half performance, which we both touched on and we'll mention later. So yeah, talking about the pre-match mood. So we all got, we're all sitting around merrily, just enjoying our day, and then suddenly the news drops that Rice is out injured, knee injury after the Brighton game. Calafiori also might be out. There's even rumours about Timber being out as well, not being seen at the hotel. So yeah, and then the lineup, it turns out Timber was fine, and then the rest I think we expected it. So Andy, how did that make you feel? How did that change your view of the game? Knowing that Rice and Calafiori out, how did it change much in terms of you thought it could happen, or were you just sort of like, oh, here we go again, it's 2020, it's last season all over again?
A bit of that, Tabs, yeah. A bit of you kind of got to just, it feels like we're very much kind of 2 in or 2 in, 1 out at the minute. And unfortunately going into yesterday, it's probably our best player of 2025 that kind of dropped out the line out, and you're looking at needing to go in and definitely get 3 points from Villa last night, and to do that without arguably your best player, certainly of the calendar year and probably of this season. There was a lot of concerns. I think we were in our kind of favourite chicken spot at the time when the news came out, and you're kind of frantically thinking like, how's that lineup going to rotate when you're thinking of kind of players with the running power that Villa have, and kind of Morgan Rogers and Onana, and you're like, we just needed Rice for this specific game to pick up 3 points and just set up 2026 on the right way. So it was. I will admit I was nervous, because you're then thinking, okay, it's Mourinho in there, because I never thought he would have went for Eze. I did think that would be too open for Arteta. And you're thinking again, Mourinho, a decent player, but certainly not as physical as, well, nobody in the league, nobody in Europe is as physical as Rice, but certainly not as physical as the likes of Onana. And I was slightly concerned he was going to get get run through, which I don't. It kind of slightly happened in the first half, but we certainly tweaked that in the second half and managed to. I think Odegaard maybe dropped a little bit deeper. Not 100% sure, just because haven't managed to watch the game back yet, but.
Yeah, I think with Mourinho, you get past him and that's it. He's never chasing you back. And what Rice does offer is that coverage in the middle or at left back, as well. So when Calafiori or Hincapié goes a wandering, he's the sort of man that can cover that spot. So I think that was we did miss his presence in the midfield, because Villa were running through us a bit too easily in that first half. And they were exploiting our wings. Like the Hincapié was getting forward a fair bit, so they're exploiting that space, and it was noticeable that they were getting out easy or easier. And Marino's just not going to do the same job. So you sort of have to try and sort of tweak it a bit. So yeah, he was a miss. I was. Yeah, it put me in a real foul mood. I said when I turned up and saw you guys in the 12 pins, the first thing I said, I'm pissed off. I'm in a right grump. I was really annoyed, and because I was looking back at the Palace game, in the EFL Cup, because Timber played that whole game, and that meant he got injured. That meant Rice played right back up against Brighton. Like, he could have got injured playing centre midfield, but I don't care. That's fine. But so then he's going to miss one of the biggest games of the season. I think it really is. Is the EFL Cup worth that? I would take 3 points over a quarter-final victory every day of the week. So I was in a bit of a grump. But and then obviously Calafiori, I think it's more than diarrhea. Apparently he's out for a few weeks. So yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there. And Mars, in terms of up front, what did you, before last night's performance, were you prepared to give Gyökeres another go up front against Villa, or were you hoping to see Jesus?
For me, I knew Arteta would start with Gyökeres. I would love to have seen Gabi Jesus, just because of, since he's been back in the last couple of games, he has been very, very good. He's been linking up with the players well, playing out on the wing. He's had considerably a lot more touches. So the stat is, in 30 minutes yesterday of Gabriel Jesus being on the pitch, he had 8 touches. Victor Gyökeres, in I don't know how many minutes he played. I think it was
60.
Gyökeres
Gyökeres came off in the 77th minute for
Oh,
Jesus.
okay. So wow, yeah. So so it was a straight swap for Gabriel Jesus, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, so
Yeah.
And in that time, Gyökeres had 14 touches. So 14 touches in 77 minutes versus 8 for in 13 minutes. So it's just Gabriel Jesus is a lot more involved. I know they're not the same type of player. They're not the same type of striker, but it just shows that Gabriel Jesus was involved, and it was quite telling and almost quite fitting that Gabriel Jesus, his first or second touch was to put the ball in the back of the net. But look, the whole, it could have been so different if Gyökeres put his head away in the first half, right? So these are the margins, and there is a chance he might come good and he might score and he gets one season under his belt in the Premier League, and it might be a blessing in disguise that Kai Havertz has been injured and Gabriel Jesus has been injured for most of the start of the season, because he's then having to play minutes in the Premier League to get used to it. And next season he might be a different beast. I just don't see that. I think, as you mentioned at the start of this episode, is sometimes sometimes you sign a player and it's we've got it wrong. So yeah, it's that wasn't a concern in the lineup. It was just like and then during the game, it was just it was. I think it was when he received a pass from Odegaard, and then his first touch was about 5 yards in front of him, dispossessed.
That was. I think that was. I can't remember. Was it? Yeah, it was about. Yeah, it was in the 14th minute. It was Gabriel played it to Gyökeres, and
Gabriel,
Gabriel, and he sort of he trapped it further than I can pass the ball, and it was sort of, it just went bouncing back, and it fed Watkins, and then Villa fed Watkins, and Watkins fluffed his lines, and that could have been. That was a massive chance. That was in the 14th minute, and then just like, he's not. He doesn't strike me as that sort. He's just literally just let him run the channels, get the ball over the top for him. He's not a pass and move player sort of thing, and that's part of us getting used to him. Like now, maybe he has to improve and get better at that. If the roles were reversed, if he's the one coming on, 20 minutes to go, we're 3-0 up, that's fine. You're giving players other minutes, you're giving stuff and getting him in. So I think we'll find a role for him. Havertz was back on the bench, which is great news. I mean, I'm not expecting too much from him too soon because he's not played hardly at all in 2025 completely. So I think there will be a role for him. And look, if he scores the winner and the game that wins us the championship, the league, then no one's going to give two shits about up until then, sort of thing. So maybe his time will come. We'll see. And look, if it comes down to penalties, we know for at least he can twat a ball really hard. So there we go.
I think just in terms of finding his role, though, I think that is kind of the kind of key point, because if we can, even in games that are slightly closer than 2 or 3-0 up, say it is 1-1, and he can come on in that 60th minute and kind of like, because at the start of the season it felt like, I don't know if he was more brave, more confident, but he was making a lot more runs. And I know there's an element of probably there's been a lot of discussion about we weren't finding him, so then maybe he stopped as well. There might have been a bit of kind of water finding its level and he's maybe dropped in confidence a little bit, but it might be a fitness thing just because he's played so much and obviously had that injury from a few weeks ago. So as we do get Havertz back, and I think by kind of middle to late January, I think Havertz will be the starting striker again. But if using Gyökeres for that last half an hour to come on and just get back to that kind of intense bully boy running game that he had at the start of the season, he probably still could end up with like 10 or 15 goals across all competitions, and that's probably what we would have taken at the start of the season.
Yeah, and look, if he plays against Portsmouth again, it's likely Havertz will play against Portsmouth. But so again, taking minutes off other players, we'll find a role for him. So we'll see, and we'll see how that pans out. So in terms of the game as a whole, in terms of the metrics, interestingly, Villa had more possession than us. It was 54 to them, 46 to us. But this is where the XG stats come into play. We had 3.04, and now they had 2.67. Now, up until 90 minutes, they had 0.72 XG, and we 2.78, and all their XG basically came from the Watkins and McGinn chances. So those are statistical anomalies, but this is where we talked about the dam bursting. They've been overperforming their XG. We've been underperforming, and today was the day that showed right now. We got our goals. They didn't. I mean, we had 22 shots to their 11. We had 7 on target to their 3. We had 6 big chances to their 5. they missed 4, we missed 4. So yeah, it's sort of as we sort of predicted, as we were planning, as we were hoping, as again, regression to the norm after the 11 game stretch that they had. So Moz, what was your, in terms of the game itself, how it went, how it played out? What were your overall thoughts of the game, of the performance?
First half, it was cagey. I don't think we played badly in the first half. I think we had, as you mentioned, we had a couple of chances, and so did Villa, and that was to be expected because this isn't a mid-table team we were playing against. It was a team that had won 10, 12 games in a row in the Premier League. They were also pumped because they beat us just a mere, 2-3 weeks ago. Their fans were in good voice. The atmosphere was a little bit nervy around the stadium before the game, so it was always going to be one of those halves. And it felt like if Villa did score in the first half, it could have been a completely different story. But what I really liked was there was a turning point. I don't know if you realised, if you noticed this, Tabs, but there was a turning point around the 39th or 40th minute in the game where the referee was getting on a lot of the Arsenal fans' nerves for various things. There was some fouls. I think there was a couple of decisions like throw-ins that went against us. At one point, he forgot to use his magic spray for a free kick that we had, and he stopped and he came back, and then Marino was booked as well. Am I right in saying, for
at the end of the first half?
Yeah. So around that kind of time, there was a lot of there was a buzz around the stadium. And I really think, and I remember looking over towards the Arsenal bench, and Arteta, I think he went over to speak to Arteta as well at some point as well. And there was a turning point almost, and I can't pinpoint exactly when it was, but I noticed there was a turning point where the Arsenal players and staff got really fired up. And I thought to myself, I really didn't wish that the halftime whistle went when it did, but we looked really fired up. And it was either that at halftime that Arteta used in his halftime talk, or the fact that Anne Hathaway and Dua Lipa were in the crowd, and the players then came out with a bit more of a boost in the second half.
Well, you knew Anne Hathaway was in the crowd because did you see Trossard's performance? He was on fire yesterday. He was almost one of the men of the match yesterday, and he was definitely showing off in front of Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, and if Dua Lipa's in the crowd, I think all of us would instantly become like a young Lionel Messi. But I think Arteta must have used that and said, "Look, we've ended this, and the crowd are now up for it." And as soon as the second half kicked off, it was like a whole different game. It was unbelievable. We just looked hungry. We looked like we wanted to prove a point. We looked like because at the end of the day, City are breathing down our necks, and we wanted to prove that we can do the hard yards, have a tough first half, but still come out and score. And we scored at the perfect times in the second half as well to really kill the game.
Yeah, Andy?
I think that's pretty much exactly what I would say as well. It's probably kind of looking at the first half compared to the second half. It's just the definition, that old football cliche of a game of two halves, isn't it? Like, came out. There was a bit of nerves around the Emirates at the kind of after about 10 minutes when I think Rodgers turned Gabriel a couple of times, and that translated into the crowd, and you're like, oh no, we're just going to watch those kind of physical players run through us all day without Rice. But then, I think so. We were kind of lucky enough to do the stadium tour the day before the game, and you almost just wish you could transport yourself into that home dressing room again to be able to hear what that halftime team talk was, because they came out just completely fired up. You noticed Odegaard. I don't quite know what had happened with the press in the first half. It seemed to be like we pressed them a wee bit and then kind of stopped. I don't know if obviously Martinez's time wasting was playing into that as well. I think, just as a kind of side point, I think the standard of Premier League refereeing and being able to allow that to happen is honestly farcical. Like, just book a player after 5 or 10 minutes, because loads of people play loads of money and spend lots of time going to these games, and it's just so frustrating when you're watching somebody take take a minute over a goal kick, and then it's like you said earlier, Tabs, when the scoreline goes in a bit of the wrong direction for them, they're sprinting around, and it's just, I know it's a part of the game and it's gamesmanship, but it is just frustrating. So that when we came out in that second half, got that early goal from Gabriel in the first 3 minutes of the second half, it just went on from there, and we just ran over the top of them. It felt like Odegaard was 6 foot tall, and he had that bounce back that he had kind of a couple of seasons ago. He's kind of, the power in his shots seemed to have come back, the bounce in his play. I think that trio in, I was going to say in midfield, so Zubimendi, Odegaard, and Trossard last night were just fantastic.
Yeah. I don't want to go two-footed, but I do want to go two-footed into Darren England, but I'm not going to, only because Marino is a very lucky man. Okay, we could not get him off the pitch quick enough.
No.
It's like, because I think it was maybe a soft yellow card for the first one, and actually, but it also may have helped us because actually I think you're right. The halftime tea talk, and we were better second half. I think Onana coming off in the second half did help. McGinn is not Onana. They missed that body and size in the middle. Even if he was there, I'm not sure it would have made that much of a difference, but every little bit helps, as they say. You're right. It was going to be, I thought it was going to be one of those ones, 0-0, 70 minutes to go. Oh, now Martinez gets booked, and then he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's not getting a second yellow card. So, and it reminded me, but I'm not going to go too big on him because I said Marino was a tad lucky there. He could have got sent off potentially. Had he not been on his first yellow, I think he would have got a yellow for that. But for me, it just reminded me the first half of the Newcastle game a couple of years back. I think everyone remembers that, where they slowed down the game massively, taking ages on every goal kick. And we knew this. And then every foul, the players rolling around just long enough not for the physio to come on. And then they get up, they break the momentum, and the ref takes no control of it, and he allows it. And he only allowed like 3 minutes of time at the end. And it's sort of like, and it is very frustrating. It kills any momentum. But then on top of that, I think you're right. I think you're right with the press. We did start doing it well. Then we sort of dropped off which allowed them to come out at us. But we were slow. I think we lacked intensity. We were too controlled. And maybe I was thinking we were trying to protect Timber and Gabriel because we didn't want the basketball game. They were turning us enough as it was, putting the ball over the top, trying to get us down the flanks, come through the middle. So maybe with Gabriel coming back from injury, Timber coming back, maybe we were trying to be a bit controlled, just not to expose them too much, too early. So maybe that was part of why we were playing in such a way. And as we said, we missed Rice. And Villa played quite well. They were better than I expected. I expected them to be a bit more of a low block. I expected them to play defensively. They didn't. So it was a bit stodgy from us. They played okay, and can
I just say before we move on about what Andy and you guys are saying about the time wasting element? I don't care about it. I don't think I care about it to the point where yesterday it was a bit of a farce because he slowed the game down so much, and I was the one shouting at the ref, to book him. But also, if the shoe was on the other foot and that was us, and we were 2-0 up, for example. We would love for our team to do that. We would love for David Raya to take time. And I think at some points we did. When we were up 2-0, we really slowed the game down. David Raya, if the ball was coming back to him, he would slow down before picking it up. And he was taking up to the 8 seconds for releasing the ball from, when he had it in his hands. But I just don't think it shouldn't be an issue because there's still enough time in a game for us to go and score.
It's not about the time. It kills the momentum. It slows everything down. It's not. But
it also kills the momentum for Aston Villa as well. Like when Emi Martínez is taking 1 minute on a goal kick, I think the Aston Villa players are also then.
They came for a draw.
But their game plan's different. They're going to nick a 1-0, come for a draw. They're trying to annoy the crowd. It's a tough one. You're right, and I think it's made easier by the fact that we won 4-1. Had it been 70 minutes, you would be going, fuck's sake, he's taking way too long. So
if last night was 0-0, I'd be on here screaming about Darren England and I'd be writing to PGMOL.
And why should it be an issue at 70, 80 minutes? Why can't it be an issue at 10 minutes? And therefore then look, we're the team that need the flow state. We're the team that need to create the momentum. We've got the home crowd, and it's done all to do that. So I think it's just about, I think it's more about, I don't blame Aston Villa. It's not Aston Villa I'm having a go at, because that's what you expect. That's who they are. That's what teams do. It's down to the referee to manage it, and he basically let Martinez run the show.
Yeah, the only way around this is obviously you're allowed 8 seconds when the goalie has it in their hands. They should have something like 12 seconds for a goal kick,
or just, yeah, it was something like that, or just like have proper time added on at the end, sort of thing. So I don't know. It's just it's a frustration, but it was the archetypal game of two halves. Second half, we were insane. Our press was better. We had more intensity. We were winning the ball high up in the Villa half. We played with more pace, with more power, and they couldn't handle it. And our finishing was superb. And it could have been more than 4, which is not what I wanted. But yeah, we had them. So yeah, I was just looking at the key. We talked about the key moments. So there was a couple of headers for Gyökeres. I think the second one, he hit it too well. If it had skimmed off his head, that's more maybe going in. And then there was, then the Villa had a couple of chances. Now, apparently the one where Saliba made that amazing stop, not a stop, but kicked the ball away from Watkins, it came back for offside. Then it came back for a foul on on Onana. Apparently it wasn't offside, so it might have stood. So that was a really important intervention for Saliba. But other than that, not much.
That was a weird one, wasn't it? Because he brought it back like 60 yards almost.
Yeah, to the foul from Marino. So he allowed play on, but it wasn't a similar thing in the for us. But maybe he didn't give the foul, so we were expecting, or he allowed play on for like nanosecond, and we messed up. But anyway, it didn't matter in the end. But I think someone alluded to the timing of the goal at 48 minutes from Gabriel was perfect. You always say like that's the halftime team talk sort of done with, and Big G's back. Perfect in swinger. And it was just on the money by Saka, right on the nose of Martinez. And what makes it funnier is Gabriel gets it, but Martinez, like a crying baby, claiming a foul, and it was never a foul. It was worrying because they go to VAR. But I don't know. Have you had a chance to look back at the goal? Have you seen it?
Yeah. And I think it's Martinez today posted, or yesterday posted on Instagram, and he said #elbows allowed. But the ball was long gone, when Gabriel was kind of jumping down and it was elbowed. And what really annoyed me was the fact that they just kept the ball, at the goal and refused to play on. And I was like, well, we've scored and the goal was given. This sort of stuff happens week in, week out, not just for Arsenal, but in the Premier League. That's how a lot of the set piece goals from corners are scored. And he should have been stronger. I think he tried to flap the ball away as opposed to just catch it.
No, I think he tried to catch it. He should have just punched it. He's stupid. If he'd have punched that, that's no go. He's just punch it clear. Yeah. I think he tried to claim it with 2 hands, and he was just too soft. And he was pushing Gabriel beforehand, so he's like, "Oh, elbows allowed." Well, I was just looking at it. Well, your elbow's in his face, so fuck off. Yeah,
Yeah, I think if you're gonna rule that one out, then there's gonna be a lot of goals ruled out over the course of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, and it goes to show what an important player Gabriel is. It's so funny. Yeah, he's back. He scores that goal. It's against Martinez. And I must admit, my celebration consisted of telling Martinez where to go, and I apologise to the 8-year-old girl in front of me. But I was very, very pleased with that. And look, that opening goals are so important, and he's one that breaks the deadlock often, because if we're struggling to get the goal, that's so important, because then teams have to open up, and then we get the goals after. And I think that's 22 in a row now, scoring first that we've won. So getting that first goal was really important, and just everything about it was brilliant. And then 5 minutes later, Andy, you were talking about Odegaard. I feel like he's trusting his body more, and he's making more tackles. Like, after the against Somerville knock with his knee, he looked a bit hesitant last 2-3 games, and now he made a tackle in midfield, stole it back. And what a pass! You guys, you must have had a beautiful view of that pass through to Zoo.
I was just going to say, it was like a superb, like kind of almost body feint, like through to kind of send the defender off to the left, slightly off balance, and then Zubimendi does tend to find himself in these advanced positions. Like, I think when he came in, like, certainly I did anyway, he was like, oh, he's a typical six. Plays, I think, I don't really watch Real Sociedad at all, so my only kind of knowledge of Zubimendi was when he came on against England in the in the Euros final, and he kind of dropped into that Rodri replacement role. So I was thinking, okay, we're going to get a sitting six, and he's going to kind of dictate tempo, control possession. But he does find himself in advanced positions, getting onto kind of few headers earlier in the season, and it was a fantastic finish. Brilliant kind of play through from Odegaard, body feint, and then just. There can't be many players better in the world at timing the pass, but also getting the right weight on the pass through to just slice that defence open. And I think, just sitting right behind that, you just seen it. It was almost like sitting like 40,000 foot on a PlayStation game. It was so perfectly executed, and just kind of wheeling away. And because it came so shortly after that kind of first goal as well, you kind of knew you could slightly relax from that moment and just start to actually enjoy the game and enjoy the win.
Yeah, it was a nice finish as well. Not easy, because a lot often you'd hit the goalkeeper's legs or they're coming out. It was a lovely little dink over. And
I was going to say that. Because he nestled it in the bottom, as you look at the goal, the bottom right corner. And that was really, you need to be a good football player to be able to do that, because like you say, I think a lot of the time you just hit it. But it was great. And Mikel Merino posted on Instagram this morning saying, great performance, blah, blah, blah. Have we found another striker? And tagged Zubimendi. So,
well, he hit the post against. He scored a cracker against Forest. He scored a header as well against Forest. I think it was the two goals. He hit the post against Everton. Brighton, I think, or Everton. So no, what a great run, great finish, and just it was just a lovely goal. So many things again good about it. The quickness afterwards, like 5 minutes after, everyone loves the crowd still buoyant after the first goal, and to get that second goal, you love it. And I think my son said to me after he hasn't celebrated a goal that much in a long time, because I think that just everything it meant, it was so big. I wasn't quite comfortable. We were 2-0 up last season, and they brought us back to 2. So I still think we need the 3, and we need the 4 and the 1. But we need, we need. Did I tell you I predicted 4-1? No. So I think we still needed the 3rd. But I think at that point, Villa were on the ropes. They were rattled. It didn't feel like they were coming back, unless Marino was getting sent off in the 58th minute. So it was 5 minutes later, and then. And then we had a couple of chances. The Odegaard fires a shot over, and then Odegaard just wide. Martinez made a brilliant fingertip save.
I think Odegaard almost mishit that one though, because Andy and I were debating that.
It.
Yeah, he toe poked it to try kind of putting Martinez off, and I think he just didn't connect with it as much. But in between the second and third goal, we had a lot of chat. I think we were on top for a lot of that.
Yeah.
And as you say, the worry was at 2-0. If Villa get 1 goal, then it's a whole different game. But between the second and third goal, we had a lot of chances.
Yeah. And then there was the Hincapié. I don't know what God. He just got excited. He just couldn't find his feet.
He got a nosebleed. He was so far up the pitch. He looked up and thought, "Oh shit, this is the North Bank." And then
don't know what happened. I don't know. I thought he was just going. It was a lovely one of those moves. It reminded me of Brazil's 4th goal against Italy in the '70 World Cup, and I think it was Jairzinho's coming in and hit it. The opposite right foot left foot into the bottom left-hand corner. Instead, he just falls over like a. I don't know what was going on there, but
I don't know if that was I don't know if that was the right pass to play, because
no, you're right. Odegaard.
There was 2. We had Saka and I think it was maybe Gyökeres on the right, and Odegaard played. But I can see why. Obviously, he was in to cross the ball again, but I don't know if maybe going to Saka was the option.
But it didn't matter, because 1 minute later, Trossard, I think, got the goal he deserved, and I'm not sure how it ended up to him, but I think Timber tried to do some sort of trick on the edge of the box, hit him, and first time shot. And again, you would have had a great view of this, as in sort of curls outside the post and then in. So Martinez has no chance. And then I think they were just checking every potential offside, even back to the first half, to disallow this because it was like first Saka and he wasn't, and then Hincapié. I was like, how far back are you looking? And
well, can I just ask? You guys noticed, and right before that goal, there was a penalty shout for Arsenal on Timber.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing as well. I was wondering, but nothing came of that. Well, no one said anything, and I looked at the replays. I looked at the TV, and nothing's been mentioned about that. So
yeah, because I thought they were checking. I know they were checking for Saka to be offside, and I thought it was tight, and it was kind of tight. But it took so long just for an offside when we have semi-automated offside anyway.
I think when there's a lot of bodies, it does struggle. So if it's like 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, it's fine. But because when you're looking down, and I think the Saka one was ruled out quickly. It was the Hincapié one. And depending what side, I don't know, he was far side, and that was really close. So, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe, and I'm thinking it should have gone to. If that's not given, then I think the penalty should have been awarded because Timber was kicked over in the box.
So it was a penalty then, Tabs. I've not seen it back at all.
Well, I thought it was. I thought it was. It looked a clear pen. It would be sort of one that would be. Well, look, if the Esteval one was a pen yesterday for Chelsea against Bournemouth, then that's a penalty. But it didn't matter. Great finish. Anne Hathaway's favourite gets his goal, and good for him. And then a whole load of substitutions. Yeah, get Merino off. Jesus comes on, and with the first touch, Zubi makes I think gets the ball back, pass it to Trossard, squares it to Jesus, and what a finish! Edge of the box. Martinez standing still, motionless. As I put here in my notes, and took his shirt off to reveal the biggest clothing tag that a mother has ever put on a child's clothing. So
I don't know.
This belongs to Jesus.
Also, just on Trossard, I don't know if Andrea Berta can find another like 10, 20, 30 grand down the back of the sofa to give him another pay rise in January, because if he can, I think we'll cakewalk the Champions League and the Premier League, because that man, since he got his pay rise in the summer, has been on fire. He's got to be one of the best value for money signings we've ever made, or certainly in the Arteta era.
He's the only employee of any business or anything in the world who has got a pay rise and then performed better. Because whenever you get a pay rise, you always you do less work. This guy has went completely the opposite, and he is proving himself.
My theory is that this is his last season, and he wants to go out with a bang and leave on a high. He's not repeat. For me, I don't think he's 31, 32. He doesn't repeat this season. It doesn't work like that. I don't think. I've got a feeling this is his like last hurrah, and he's making the most of it, which is fine. Let's enjoy it while we can. But that's a discussion for another day. But Jesus scores. I like this little stat. Jesus scores Arsenal's first and last goal of 2025. So that's a nice one.
I don't know it's Christmas by Santa Claus and decorations and Christmas trees. I know it's Christmas when Gabriel Jesus is named in starting lineups and on the bench.
There we go. And look, it could have been more, but thankfully it wasn't. Saka had a chance and fired over. And then the Ole started, which always winds Martin Odegaard up. It's good fun for the crowd.
Does it?
Yeah. There was Chelsea 5-0 last year, and you could just see him like getting really annoyed by it. I don't think he finds it happy. I don't think he revels in it, unlike maybe other players. But yeah, I think there's something about it. He says, like, come on, concentrate, let's go in the game. And then we have the McGinn chance, which didn't go in, and then Watkins somehow, I don't know how this goal happened, because somehow Marlon dribbles, gets through 4 or 5 defenders, ends up toe poking it off.
It was a lucky tab. He got. You've obviously seen it, but he got a touch, didn't he? Saliba got a touch of the ball, which I think puts David Raya off. And then also when
and then it hits the post, it goes through David Raya's legs, then hits the post, and then comes out to Watkins.
I thought it was going to be given as offside at one point, because I thought Watkins was ahead of play, but it wasn't. And then I just think it was one of those ones where there was two things. I think when Malin did the little pirouette in the box, it hit off Gabriel Jesus' heel, and then Saliba got a touch which put Raya off, and then Raya's legs were closing but not closing quick enough, and Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I was good with it, so that's fine. I didn't celebrate, but I had a little wry smile on my face. And there we go. Game over. 4-1. A nice humbling. And look, we just got this in the Grove group chat, which I need to read, and referencing the Unai Emery storming down the tunnel. It said, I've just read Unai waited as long as a delivery driver at your door. Unai Every is his new name.
Superb.
very, very, very good. Very good. So, halfway stage of the season, we're on 45 points, so trending towards 90, which I think should be more than enough. We're now 6 above Villa, with like 18 better goal difference. We've got 5 points in City. Okay, City have to go to Sunderland, minus Ballard and all their AFCON players, but still, there's the pressures on then. We're also 13 points above Liverpool. Okay, they've got a game in hand, but the funniest one is that ever since Chelsea beat us 1-1 and their title challenge was on, they're now 15 points behind us and 14 goal difference. And I don't think they've won a game. If they have, they may have won one and been shit in all the others. So yeah, that's quite amusing. And also, Man United drawing at home to the worst team in the Premier League is also very amusing. Always good to keep an eye out on those guys. So yeah, we're in a very good position, very healthy at the halfway stage of the season. Before we move on, any other players that stood out? Anything else you want to mention about the game? Or we're all
I
good?
think it was just a couple of a very small point on Bukayo Saka. Like, it was pretty quiet night for Saka. He obviously got the assist for the first goal. And it's not necessarily a criticism or anything like that. It's just, I think if you were to wind back the clock 12 months and think that we could win 4-1 at home to a kind of title rival, and Saka not play well, you'd be like, well, something's gone wildly wrong there. But we seem to be playing and scoring goals and kind of playing freely and openly, while Saka still seems to be kind of finding a bit of form, which I think it can only really bode well for us as we move into 2026. Because if he starts to pick up, I mean, I do say that he still picked up an assist, and it's probably one of those ones you look back in like February and he'll have scored like 3 or 4 goals, and he'll have another 3 or 4 assists, and he'll be our highest goals and assist provider. But he's not kind of. I don't know, certainly last night I didn't think I thought they kind of marked him well, especially in that first half. I think there's 2 players, we were discussing it in the ground, Moz and I, last night. There's 2 players that seem to do quite well against Saka. It's Mikalenko and Lucas Digne. And I think Digne done a really good job in that first half. And I think, yeah, that's why I was so kind of happy with Trossard yesterday, because it meant that we could attack down that left and get the threat from somewhere else, whereas kind of previous seasons we've seen it very much coming from Saka, Odegaard, Ben White when he was playing previously. So yeah, I took that as Saka not being as influential as he perhaps has been in the past, but I think that's probably a good thing, because he will come back. For me, he's our best player. He'll get that spark back, and I think if he can get that as we're approaching the run-in, then that's only going to be a good thing for us.
He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 12 Premier League games for Arsenal, which, yeah, I think I agree with what Andy says.
I don't think he's getting the results of what his performances deserves. I think he played well against Everton, played well against Brighton, had chances. It's fine. I'm not worried. I think he's one of these ones when we need it, he'll turn it on and he'll be there, still integral. But also, I think, Digne did a good job of him. Let's say the way Villa did, they basically shut down our right hand side and left our left hand side exposed, and that's why Tross had a lot of opportunity, a lot of the game, and that was their choice, and that's great. So that if he does that, so even if his role is maybe not to be as effective, he's still influencing the game just by his sheer presence, because we had a lot of threat down the left, and Tross had a great game. He could have had an assist, because if Gyökeres had got one of the headers on, or from the Hincapié cross. So that's the threat he offers. Fine, shut him down, but now we've got threat down the left hand side as well. So, but yeah, it's you're right. I think he's going to come good in the second half. If not, we'll drop him along Rice and we'll have him sit down on the bench and have a good think about things.
let's not forget though as well that he pretty much this time last year that he had hamstring surgery. So
Yeah.
that's not like a couple of weeks. That's a major surgery. I think hamstring surgeries are almost second to ACLs and whatnot, but some of them can, it can take a while for players to find form. Like Martin Odegaard, obviously when he came back as well, it took a while to find form. So I'm not worried. It's just that
Yeah.
we need Saka's the type of player though that if we need something to happen in a game, if it's 0-0, he's the one that would produce. And just before moving on, I just wanted to mention, just in terms of our performance this season in comparison to the season before and before that as well, it's just unbelievable how much we've improved. I mean, Brighton and Villa, 2 games we dropped points in, that we've now managed to win, and so I just think if we keep doing this, we could, it's just about City and how long they can last and breathe down our necks. And signing Semenyo is obviously a massive move in January in our title race. It's a huge signing. I wonder if we respond to that and sign a player.
Don't know, maybe in defence, I think Arteta had a sort of, who knows, I think they asked about it in a press conference the other day, and whether it was a stock answer, whether he was being cheeky, whether, I don't know. We're more likely to sign someone in defence. We don't know how bad the Mosquera injury is. Ben White, maybe in defence, but I don't see anything else than that. And look, you can put 11 players out on the pitch. We've seen players go to City and meant to be really good, and then don't end up doing much. So it is what it is. We've just got to be ourselves. We're still the best team, the best squad in the Premier League, and we just got to show it. I still, say you take Haaland out of Man City's team, and they'll be above average. So let's see. I'm not too worried. Right, so we've got about 10 minutes to go. I was going to do something on 2025 and looking back, but let's look forward to winning everything in 2026 instead. So we'll ditch that. But what I do want to do is just quickly go through, whilst I go through some of the 3-word reviews. If you can, Andy and Moz, you can think of a couple. I'll pick out some 3-word reviews that we got sent yesterday, and thank you everyone for sending those through, and apologies if I get your name wrong or mangle your handle, because I'm just terrible at reading. So going to X, we have Ian Da Vinci, bad evening Unai. A lot of these are anti Aston Villa. Dubs for Sam, fuck you Emery. Yeah, and Ask Cannon Picks, Ian. I think this might have been Jägermaster induced. Fuck you Martinez. Thank you, Ian. Ask Cannon Picks. Okay, let's go to TikTok. Gaza928, North London forever, indeed. Jamie McCabe, Big Gabby's back, he is. And Mickey M, remembered we're Arsenal. I think we did. Adrian89, this song was sung out. Are you Tottenham in disguise? Gianluca, the boy, worth the wait. It definitely was. And then user and a whole load of numbers. Gabby Boom Boom. Thank you very much. All right, on to threads. We have, very, very good evening. So there's a lot of, more of that from Sam13 Draws. Who else we got? Sam13 comes back with fuck off Villa. Spooks Davey, never in doubt. Yeah, I don't know. After that first half, it might have been a bit annoying. More leg puppy up yours Villa. There you go. Thank you. Groovy Cathers too. Second rate Villa, definitely. And what else we got? That's it. Okay, go on, Andy and Moz. Do you have any?
I think Ian summed it up best, to be honest, with the Jaeger and Jesus one. But thinking on the fly, Odegaard is back.
Odegaard is back. Okay, and I'll go on, Moz. You look like you're ready with yours, or your camera stalled.
Mine is just a simple 3 words: arse cannon picks.
Arse cannon picks. Okay.
That guy is. He's slowly becoming a very good guy. A very good guy.
A very bad influence. I think that's
just a great laugh, and just an absolute gem of a man.
Okay, my 3-word review is "told you so." Right,
You're never going to give that
and
up,
then
Tabs,
on to
that's going to be.
hell. Hell no. Right. On Blue Sky, we had Mr. C the Gooner, a Christmas stuffing. Jabberwocky Emi, who scored? Suck It Emi from John B696. Lucy Gunner, brilliant second half. And then there were a few on the Grove WhatsApp chat, but I can't be bothered to find them. But yeah, a lot of just taking the mickey out of Emi and Emery and all that jazz. So, right. That's that with 2025. One more, then we move on to 2026 where we play Bournemouth. So, what are you looking forward to, not looking forward to, as far as playing Bournemouth on Saturday, the 3rd of January at 5:30? Yes, Andy, what are you not looking forward to, looking forward to?
Looking forward to, I think Moz, you touched on that, that kind of net point difference that we're kind of improving on from last year, and I think we're also up on the previous season as well. So we obviously went there and got beat last year, so looking forward to hopefully continuing the theme of changing around the results from last year. Hopefully Rice is back, and we can.
On the bench.
Yeah. In terms of not looking forward to, I would say, but I've never been, but Bournemouth always feels like one of those smaller pitches where. Well, actually, I was going to say maybe that's a bad thing, but in terms of getting corner deliveries, maybe long throws and corner deliveries are a wee bit easier on a tighter pitch. I'm not sure, but yeah, I just think kind of depths of winter, 5:30 kickoff at night. They have been playing well. If Semenyo's still around, because I'd imagine, I don't know, Man City might not quite let the ink dry on that contract just until he plays against us, and hopefully for them maybe takes a few points off us. But yeah, just I think not looking forward to the kind of later kickoff, winter, dark night. But if we get
banana skin, it's what they call like a trap game. You know, you have Villa, then we've got Liverpool. So you've got, in America they call it a trap game, that one game in between two big games that you could if you don't pay due attention, could be a bit of a banana skin, as they say. Moz.
Looking forward to watching from the comfort of my or probably Andy's couch. That sounds so weird, but yeah, we normally watch the games. We've got into quite a habit actually recently of watching.
Where's Andy? Is he going to be out at this time? Was he?
Don't know. We've got into a habit recently of going round to one of our houses and watching the games together when we're not down in London. So looking forward just to having I know it sounds so bad. I'm very grateful to be able to go and watch Arsenal live, but just having a break from going to watch Arsenal live. It's been some run in 2025, and not looking
Check
forward.
Your privilege.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's one of those. I know I should really be grateful, but it's just been freezing cold down here. I feel like I'm getting the start of
and Scotland is what, warmer?
Well, up until yesterday, when there was snow falling in Scotland, up until yesterday it was warmer, but yeah, and not looking forward to. It's just, yeah, as you say, it's like a trap game, isn't it? Is what they call it in the States. But it's just one of those games where one injury, it's always the worry now is like if someone gets injured, we've got bigger games coming up. I'm not worried about Bournemouth at all. I really don't think Semenyo will play. I think they want to wrap it up by tomorrow. And I just don't know if Man City would want to sign a player for 60 odd million and have him play and risk injury when he's not playing for Man City. Because you'd assume by now the contract's been agreed, personal terms have been agreed, and the transfer fee's been agreed, obviously, with the release clause. If you're Man City, if you're Pep, are you going to risk him playing one more game for a club that you're never going to play for again and then risk an injury? I really don't think so. So I'm not too worried. I think we'll still be top of the league and come Sunday.
Oh, we will be even if we lose, I think. So
well, there you go then. I'm the all-knowing, all-seeing, just epiphany that I had there. Yeah, still top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to continue our form. I love the point about Andy just getting points on the ones we lost last year. You know, it was a stupid sending off against Saliba. I don't think Trossard's making those sort of mistakes anymore, and we just don't seem to be having those stupid decisions. Yeah, and then Bournemouth haven't won since October the 26th. So what I'm not looking forward to is them breaking their duck against us. In the past, we seem to be that favourable team. If you're suffering any problems, if your team's underperforming, go and play Arsenal. They'll help you out. Yeah. I don't think we're that anymore, but you're right. It's 5:30 New Year's Day. It's one either people are hungover or they just carried on drinking the night before. Oh, it's not New Year's Day, sorry, the 3rd. So I don't know. Yeah, but it may be the crowd will be up for it. So let's see. So what are you thinking, Andy, in terms of the lineup? Because I was thinking about this, and I think this is one of the hardest ones to predict because we've got Liverpool on the Thursday. 4 days later, 5 days later. What are you thinking in terms of how we're gonna do it? Is it going to be rotation or we keep the momentum?
I think it's keep momentum. Although Bournemouth, like you say, haven't won since the end of October, I don't know what it is about that stadium and about the pitch. It gives me slight nerves. So I think he'll go full strength. Yeah. I think potentially, what Ben White came on for the last kind of 10 minutes last night. I think that might be a change depending on how long he could do, because Timber's been running on empty for what feels like months now. Maybe Ben White comes in. Otherwise, I would think it'd be very much the same unless Declan Rice is fit. I think he would slot in, but I think he still goes Gyökeres up top. I think he still keeps the rest of the team the same as last night.
Okay, just Rice in for Marino. Okay, Moz, what are you thinking team wise?
Yeah, I think much the same. I think this has a potential to be a very good weekend. It has a potential to be a very good end to the festive games as well. Man City play Chelsea the day after us. And I just think Arteta will want to keep that momentum going. I don't think he'll change anything. I think, as you guys are alluding to, I think Gyökeres keeps his place, and I think Rice comes in for Marino if needs must. The Gabriel injury came off. Obviously, I think that's just game management.
It's cramp. I think it's just cramp. I think it was just cramp.
Yeah, we're okay with that. And Timber obviously came off. He had to sit down and got subbed again. I just think it was tiredness and from injury. So yeah, and I think as well, if memory serves me correctly, Mosquera's almost back, kind of around the start to middle of January. Obviously, Kai Havertz, it'd be lovely to be 3-0 up and be able to maybe bring Kai Havertz on. If he doesn't get a game with the under-21s, just for fitness reasons, he's not obviously of that age. And yeah,
but it feels like he needs a pre-season. Because he's practically not played at all since whenever Newcastle, whatever it is. So.
And you mentioned, Tabs, that I know I digress a little bit, but very quickly, you mentioned that he might play against Portsmouth or whatever, but I don't think Arteta will play Kai Havertz again. I think he plays Gyökeres just to get Gyökeres scoring and whatnot. So yeah, I'm quietly confident. Don't worry about the small pitch. I don't worry about anything. I don't worry about the lineup. I think we're going to be okay. I think the start of 2026 will be very fruitful for us Arsenal fans.
Yeah, the small. All pitches fall within a range. It just looks smaller because of the stadium. And I'm confident. I think White comes in for Timber. Again, this is why we have the squad. This is why we manage. We've got Liverpool, and you want Timber playing against Liverpool. You bring in White for Timber. I think you keep Saliba, Big G, and Hincapié just to build that relationship there. Maybe you take Odegaard out, bring Eze in. Rice comes back, Zubi. So maybe one change in the midfield, or you have Rice, Zubi, and Odegaard because those three haven't played together yet. I don't think, or haven't done much. And then I also think up front, I think Madueke maybe comes in for Saka. Maybe Eze comes in for Trossard.
I don't know about Eze. I don't know if he comes in for Trossard.
Well, he hasn't played in ages, and again, so it's that rotation. This is why we have the squad. If you're not going to rotate against a team like Bournemouth, when are you? And we've got Liverpool. I think Nelly seems to play well against Liverpool, so maybe you start Nelly there. So I think we have a small space player, Trossard or Eze in there. Madueke, bit of chaos and to rest up things. These guys need their minutes. So I think, but it's Arteta who knows, he may go big. But again, so maybe not too many changes. I'm just highlighting where one or two may be coming. I think definitely, one or two. But who knows? I think this is one of the hardest lineups to predict. And I said in terms of Bournemouth, so I said like their home form is actually not that bad. Like they've played 9, won 4, drawn 4, lost 1. They've scored 11 against 6 at home. But as I said, since October 26th when they beat Forest 2-0. They've lost to City away. They lost to Villa away. They drew at home to West Ham. They lost to Sunderland away. They lost at home to Everton. Drew with Chelsea at home. Drew with Man United away. Drew with Burnley at home. Lost to Brentford 4-1. And then drew last night with Chelsea 2-2. So, yeah, some poor results in there and a poor run of form. Overall, they're sitting 15th in the table, won 5, draw 8, lost 6, -6 goal difference. So, they concede on average 1.84 goals per game, but they score 1.53. So, yeah, there should be goals in this. The question is, will Semenyo play? It'll be very silly. I don't think Man City think like, oh, we'll let him play against Arsenal because that, it's an investment. You don't think that. They don't really care. And apart from Tyler Adams, they seem to have a fully fit squad. So yeah, I don't know. We should be winning this one. In the last 6 games, we've won 4, lost 2. So yeah, what are your prediction? Actually, I didn't realise we actually lost at home against them last year as well. We lost 2-1 at the Emirates, lost 2-0 there. Yeah, it's time for payback. So Moz, what's your prediction that you can then be smug about next week?
I'm going for a 3-1.
3-1. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going for a 3-1. I think
3-1.
Yeah.
Okay. Andy, what's your prediction?
I'm slightly more nervous about this game than Liverpool, to be honest. But I still think we win 2-0. I think we'll get a goal in the first half, potentially set piece, and then just control it from there. Maybe get a one in around the 75th, 80th minute.
Okay.
Can I just say sorry very quickly? I just remembered this before I forget. It was so funny yesterday. Andy was reading something on his phone, and it was something about like OG, like OG starts. And he looked at me with a serious look on his face, and he said, "Who's OG? Is it Ollie what? Ollie?" And I was like, "Own goal, Andy."
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That was probably
how many you had by then?
Of pints of cider talking.
Oh dear. Well, you know what? It was worked for me once before, and it's going to work for me again. I'm going 4-1. There we go. It'll be if this comes in, it's like, just call me Nostratabs. There we go. I'm going 4-1. We're going to give someone another. I think I'm hoping this is the run. Like 2 years ago, we've started the run of just like battering teams home and away. This is it. We are back. We are back. Okay, good. So, thank you guys for joining me this afternoon, despite how beautiful you look and your head's hurting. Thank you very much.
And we've got a flight to catch as well very soon. So hope you appreciate the effort.
No, we do indeed. And look, Happy New Year, Happy Hogmanay, as they say in your neck of the woods.
Thank you very much.
So, any plans for tonight or? Early to bed.
Andy's off out. I'm going to my bed. The water's too hard in England. I miss the soft Scottish water in the showers, so I can't wait to go home and have a Hogmanay shower.
Really what you're doing? Is that really what you're doing, Moz? Is that actually? You telling a wee porcupine there?
Yeah. Going to my bed.
I think I'm going to meet a few friends in the south side of Glasgow, but I don't think it'll be I think it'll probably be see you in the bells. Have a hug, say Happy New Year, and then get myself up the road for a big snooze.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. And you can follow us on Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, X, Instagram at The Grove AFC. Next show, I think we'll do a hot off the pitch instant reaction post Bournemouth on Saturday evening. So look out for that, the live stream. And as I said before, if you enjoy or don't enjoy, whatever it is, just do us a like, subscribe, leave us a rating on all the podcast feeds, on our YouTube channel at The Grove AFC. It'll be very much appreciated and helps get this into the ears of other people, and it seems to be working. And all that leaves me to say is that I want to wish, or we from the Growth Podcast, want to wish everyone a very happy and healthy new year. We hope that your resolutions last longer than a couple of days in January. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being us. Thank you for putting up with the likes of Moz, Ian, Jamie, Kasiva, and myself over the last 12 months. The pod seems to be growing nicely, going from strength to strength. So thank you. That's down to you guys listening and spreading the word, and we really appreciate it. And we look forward to more podding in 2026. And more importantly, a very silverware-laden 2026 for the Arsenal. So thank you for listening. And until next year, come on, you Gunners.